The spotlight over the city, and we got our first plus one in the building. Give it up, first of all. Yeah, let's get excited. I want to say this. I don't have enough time to do the intro like I want to. I was going to get on my Steve Harvey. So this young man doesn't need an intro. If you're from around here at all, you don't need to intro him. But I want to say I'll commend him for the work. The work. This young man has put a lot of work in, way more than what the cameras show, way more than what media say, way more than what the public acknowledges. This young man has been doing this for year after month, after week, after day. Not just fighting for dad, fighting for activism. Yeah. Black people, our people, fighting. So I just want to say I thank you, I commend you, and man, you stand for a lot. So I want to say, put your hands together for Mr. Tony Lewis Jr.
Yes.
Put it together.
Yes.
Put it together. He deserves every bit of the accolades because this young man is doing it from the heart. Some of the things that he's done doesn't get a check, doesn't get acknowledgement, and he still pound the curb.
Yes.
He still fight for right.
Yes.
And I love it. And so I watch you. I pay attention to your work. And I say salute.
Yeah, appreciate that, man.
Yes. Welcome
Mr. Tony Lewis Jr. in the building. You already know. Let's get right to it, man. How are you, man?
I'm outstanding, man. I'm living the dream, bro. I'm good.
You really are,
yeah,
man.
for real.
How does it feel?
I don't know. Trying to find the words, you know what I'm saying? My father, been home come this Wednesday, coming to be 6 months, you know?
You been that long?
Yeah, it's been 6 months.
Hey, y'all better put them damn hands together.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna make this about his dad because he has enough on his own, but I wanna say salute to him, and I wanna say congratulations to him, and I wanna say congratulations to you for never wavering.
Yeah.
Because you never wavered. So I'll leave it at that, and at your leisure, you can speak on any of that, but
sure.
You in itself is enough.
Yeah,
you're enough.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you are.
And I definitely know that. It's one of them things. I mean, part of like anybody, right? Your parents are, even no matter what the relationship is, right? You come from people, right? And my father's. Our struggle, our collective struggle, has been such a part of my activism, right? So I'm really saying that from that standpoint. I mean, for 23 years, I've been, in direct service of the most fragile residents in the District of Columbia, and also moving past DC, nationally. I've been, one of the leading voices around mass incarceration and its impact on women and children.
That's right.
And I had done a lot of work to help reunite a lot of other families. So for my family to be reunited at this point is just a beautiful thing.
It's surreal, right?
It is.
And so I just want to say I commend you. And at any time, so what was I know it's your dad, but what was that? Did you ever have a moment where you just felt like, man, this is like a losing battle type of thing? Because one thing people know is they see your fight. They know your dad to be legendary and a stand-up guy, but they don't cry at night with you. They don't miss the dad in him. They don't know the real dad in him. They don't know the real father figure that you absent from. They don't understand that dynamic, right? Sure. And so you do. And so how did you deal with that? Because from us, it's Tony Lewis Sr.
Right.
From you, it's dad.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel because he's absent?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, y'all, baby. Before you answer that, there are people on here who really don't know your story. I didn't know that. So can just real brief.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Can we talk about how old you were when your dad went away? How long did you fight for him to come home?
Yeah, let's start from that.
Yeah,
that's quick version
from there. Yeah, but I think your question is in line with your question, because I mean, a lot of people have seen the fight since it's been public, right? And that's me as an adult. Right, saying free Tony Lewis. I mean, I think the first time publicly that I shared that was on the Cornell Jones American Gangster, which was in 2008.
And you were how old?
I was 28.
So you still primarily young.
Yeah, I mean, relatively.
Yes.
I mean, but in life, I think I was old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but my father went away when I was 8, approaching 9 years old.
Are you serious?
He went to jail April 15th, 1989. I was 8. I turned 9 the next month. Right. So this struggle started when I was a boy. Mm-hmm. And the reality of it is, shortly after that, my mother started to really battle severe mental illness, something that, you know, plagues her to this day, right? So I kind of lost both my parents in the way that I had them prior to.
Right.
So my whole life changed. And I'm from Hanover Place, you know what I'm saying? I've been on Hanover my whole life. So that's the context of that, is just growing up sort of in the you know, whatever's going on in DC went on in Hanover, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So I grew up in the probably the roughest era in the city, right?
What we call the trenches.
Yeah, it's no question about it. And for other family and other community that was very entrenched in the activities of the underworld. Where I come from, everybody go to jail, die, you know, get a habit,
Get
whatever.
shot, this and
Yeah,
that.
all of the above.
For sure.
And I don't say that with like, you know, sticking my chest out, but
Yeah, it's facts.
I was blessed enough to navigate that. And being able to navigate that put me made me uniquely positioned to reach people that other people couldn't make. And when I was 20, I got a job doing violence intervention, like from a peer-to-peer standpoint, and that work saved my life. You know,
So that's what kind of kept you on the path of doing right.
yeah, absolutely. Don't nobody do right where I'm from. There's no model for right.
That was one of the biggest questions that I had. What kept you
them
from doing
but them though,
the
like
other
so
path?
it's a multitude.
right?
It ain't linear, but it's a strong grandmother. It's the guy, it's the men and the women around me that was in the street seeing something in me and saying, you know, and I knew I was different than everybody. I never been the same as everybody else. I think, but being comfortable being different, right, was another thing that gave me, you know, sort of the courage to do something other, because I never was just like everybody else. And a father, you know, who never made jail seem like or his lifestyle in general, there was nothing fly about it. That he never was okay with jail. The jail was never comfortable, and you know, he gave me something every day about why I wouldn't want to come there, how he would be disappointed too. But what's problematic, right, was difficult. You know, people teach what they know. Right, and when you travel a path that's different than everybody else, right, you know, there's nobody to show you the way. You know, the application of like, go to school, you know, do something different. That's fine. I hear that. And I think a lot of young people experience this too. I hear that, but how do I do it?
Because you had no model for that.
None.
And so that's why that was my biggest question for you. You didn't have that model. You had a great model because beyond the situation, he was a great man.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you didn't
And
have
others.
that model.
Yeah, I had uncles.
Right? There you go.
But I had models of show me how you take care of your community, right? You don't judge people based on their actions. You help those in need. I had those models in my life, right? I just found a way to do that in my way. So really, I always share that. Like I don't feel like you know, people always try to frame, like, in these stories and the media coverage and all that. They'll try to frame like that I was just like so different from my father. But I'm like, really, I'm not. I'm not really different at all. We are very similar. You know what I'm saying? And not just him. Remember, you talk about my Uncle Boo, my Uncle Greg, my Uncle Alvin, or Cornell, all these people, the men that I looked up to. I just found a way to make an impact in a positive way, in a different way, while using a lot of the tools and the principles that I observed and that I was taught. And you know, but the reality, the bigger piece for me was my friends, right? All my homies that went to jail early or died early, and you know, I never took for granted. I knew that could be my fate. I actually felt like that was always going to be my fate. Why wouldn't I? And so when I got to a point in my life where I had another way and it was like a clear path, and not to mention the service, like serving my people, you know, gave me something. It gave me a high. It continues to give me something that, you know, I couldn't turn away from. And I felt like if I ever turned away from that, then I would perish. And so that's how we're here today.
But there's something in you because you have a passion for it.
Absolutely.
See, a lot of people love their people. A lot of people want to see change and this and that, but you advocate for it and get in and fill in the gaps for it. So it takes a certain energy for that. So what I saw is that the hustle that your dad had and the energy that he had, you turned it for a different angle, so to speak. It didn't diminish who you were. It just put you in a different light.
Nah, sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I take a lot of pride in, you know, I've never been miffed or confused about my origins in both. Like my mother's side of the family actually is the real, like, I mean, not the real, like but it's the deeper street. My mom's side, right?
Wow.
So this is all around me. It's not
Right.
like,
So both sides.
absolutely, right? And so I felt a sense of you know, responsibility to them, to every sacrifice they ever made, you know, the risk they ever took was for me to be able to do something different. And I, you know, obviously I'm from a 43-year-old man, right? A husband, a father too. So I'm trying to encapsulate my entire life. But I mean, I got to a point, and you know, it wasn't without bumps. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't linear.
For sure.
It's no way it could. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But once
Right.
the things that I survived. You know, I knew that once this opportunity to serve my people and to make a living doing it, then, you know, I knew that what my purpose was.
You landed on your feet each time. So my last question is, was the restraint from, you know, going the wrong way having a lot to do with the disappointing of your dad?
What you
Like,
mean?
did you have that in mind to keep you on a different path? Did you have something in mind like that? I definitely don't want to let my dad down, and I definitely had it.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. But I didn't want to let my mom down, my dad, my grandmother, my hood. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
the
saying?
tribe.
Yeah,
That was
for
betting with you.
sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And I ultimately, though, I ain't want to let myself down. But I mean, I think the when I wrote my book, right? When I wrote Slug, it was me trying to really explore how I got to where I was at that point, which that's 10 years ago
Right.
when I wrote that book. I was 33. But how did I get here? It was what I was trying to answer, right? And again, yeah, it was about I was not trying to, but the main thing I wasn't trying to do is kill nobody. I'm serious. If I had to, I wasn't even, jail wasn't necessary. I always thought I was gonna go to jail. My belief in the higher power, I was the one thing I was like, if I had to defend myself, cool. But where we come from, the beefing and all this, and people, like, it was just something you almost felt like, yeah, I'm gonna have to, you know what I'm saying?
It's almost a
and
part
that
of
was
you,
like
who you
something
are,
that
yeah.
really kept me in line. Like, I felt like I was gonna have to answer the creator. I ain't want to do that, and I think that helped. Ultimately, that helped me find my way. And I like gambling more than I like hustling. No, seriously.
I know that's
I'd rather
right.
Wow.
shoot crap than try to sell drugs. Like, that kept me out of jail. I mean that. Anybody know me?
They know that.
They know that for real.
Wow.
And so I respect your realness. Go ahead. I want you to.
a lot of your journey is in your book, right?
It is. Yep, up to 33.
Up to
every year.
33, right? And so there is one question on here that I wanted to try to get to before we wrapped up, and it says, ask Tony Lewis, what does statehood do for the city now after so many years?
I think statehood, I mean, statehood, the most important thing I think would allow us to bring our prisoners home and be able to provide the proper interventions and training and education and prepare people to release to the District of Columbia to be competitive. I mean, to me, that's the thing that's important, the most important. I mean, obviously, we would have autonomy over the laws. We have autonomy over our courts. I think so we would have much more control. The question, though, I would have for statehood, though, is like, I always ask, like, how much of this would belong to us anymore, right? You know, none of the federal land would be a part of, you know, New Columbia or whatever, Douglas Commonwealth, whatever we would call it. So I think it's some things, and what, you know, do we got room to grow anything? Do we got room to build any industry here? Because I think we would have to think about some of that. But you know, ultimately, hopefully, if a state or we remain a district, we continue to put more investment into our people, right?
Yeah.
Have a real economic plan for poor Black people from here. I think, to me, that's the most essential and critical thing, to focus in on DC natives.
Wow.
Tony speak like a president, don't he?
Wow. And,
So, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We can give it up for that.
That's a good.
I will say this. I respect the realness. So shout out to my man Smooth, Eric Weaver, all the people
Shout out
who
to Smooth. That's
all the people who are trying to really get back to our community with a sincere heart and really go
You're a
without
special
no.
guy too, man.
I know
So
this.
it's things bro
I know.
do that people don't.
I know.
They understand.
I know.
Yeah.
So that's why I say what I said.
Indeed.
Because I do know. So I don't know it all, but I do know that this young man has a heart for his people. And I know that he has come full circle, and I love that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, shout out to you as well, man. I appreciate you, wifey.
he didn't
If you have
ask. He didn't
anything
answer
else-
this in the beginning.
Oh,
I'm gonna
oh,
ask
oh.
again. How does it feel, Tony? Like, it's been almost 6 months. I want to know, just as a, I guess, just
Yeah, you
as
get
an
to hug- you
emotional-
get to hug
an
on them, love
emotional
on
woman.
them,
I want to know, like, what that
physically
first
see
day
them.
was like.
Yeah.
Like, what was it that day?
Man, the
Because I know you was there to go get him.
Who else gonna go get him?
So right. So you okay?
Yeah,
So take us back. You on the way?
What time we got? But I'm.
Yeah, we gonna make it the quick
five
All right,
version.
so look, I'm gonna do.
You
the
on the
quickest
way?
version I can, 'cause I think
5
this is
minutes.
important.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
So March 18th, right? I get off a plane in New Orleans. Our lawyer Brittany Barnett, who I called modern day Harriet Tubman. Shout out to Brittany K. Barnett. Look her
Yeah,
up.
shout out
go.
to her.
Yes, sir.
She called me. She FaceTimes me. Me and my wife in the Uber, and she says Monday.
That's it.
She says Monday. I talked to her Wednesday about the potential of the government didn't oppose the motion. She called, so that's this Friday. I come back Sunday. She said Monday. We go pick him up Monday, and it was the most. It was like it wasn't real. I was praying that I wasn't dreaming. I've dreamt about that day for 34
So many
years.
years. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like, man, I was really having a moment. Like, am I dreaming?
Is this real? Like,
And so we get there. They saying he didn't come straight out. So it took like 2 hours. We sit in the parking lot. And we got out to the Sprinter because it was getting hot in there. And then my daughter was like, there you go, my baby. We just ran to him. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It just was like, I get goosebumps saying it was just like, it was like, it was
Surreal.
unreal every morning. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man.
And that's
and we
what-
say this, like, can you believe this shit? Like,
Right.
can you believe
Yeah, but that's
6 months in and it's still like, can you believe this, you know?
So this is what I want to tell you though. Your dad was such a stand-up, solid, good guy that the whole damn city, was rocking with you, brother. I'm talking about everybody I know
grateful.
said, bring this man home. Stop this shit.
Yeah.
We got to stop this
Yeah, man.
injustice. And everybody said it. I don't care who you were.
With David B. Goliath that day, I think people don't really understand just how insurmountable it really was, right? Him, their case and him specifically was held in a different regard than a lot of other people, and
For
many
sure.
people did not believe. Even all the work that I had did, all the rooms I had been in, all the people that I had helped in other ways, nobody really stepped into it on a national level and all that. Then they was afraid to step out there and really be like free Tony Lewis, because I think in them back rooms when I wasn't there, people was telling them like that shit ain't gonna happen.
That's
we
exactly
respect
right.
what Shorty doing and all that, but this ain't gonna happen. And but God saw it different, man.
Yes,
And he made it
indeed.
happen.
That part. He said God saw it different is what I said. That part.
Okay.
And so I'm going to wrap it up, man, because we got the next guest. But I want to say thank you, man. Anytime we can loan this platform for your voice, let's do that.
Sure, I would love
If you want to set up a forum where we can talk to our youngins, let's do that. Anything we can do, let's do that, because our youngins in trouble. The news not going to help us, ABC, NBC, and all that. I respect all that, but they're not going to do for our community. We have to do it.
Yeah.
And so anything I can do here as a voice, because we have a few people that watch, thank God for that. And let's do that, right? And so I'll say, you have this platform any day, anytime.
Appreciate that.
Y'all give it up for my man, Tony
Yes,
Lewis.
Yes,
Let's go.
Tony Lewis Jr. You got anything coming up that you want everybody
anything
to
you
know
wanna
about?
plug before we wrap?
Anything going on in your life that you want
Look,
people to know?
it be too much. Just stay tuned.
How can they follow you, first of all?
Mr. Tony Lewis Jr., Mr. Tony Lewis Jr. on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Tony Lewis, TonyLewisJr.com. Just be on the lookout. We got a lot of things planned. Me and my dad been going around a few colleges and stuff, lecturing, and something I'm planning for. This is my time. My men always say this is my time. Falls between now and Christmas. The community turkey drive, toy giveaway, doing stuff for returning citizens. We're trying to get one of the things that's important to us is rights restoration, man. Full rights restoration for men and women. We got to get record sealing so people can get their lives together. We talk about the youngins. If we don't stabilize the adults, we can't help the youngins.
You heard
The
that.
main thing, and getting the Biden administration to reunite more families like ours.
I love
He was
it.
the architect of our current system of mass incarceration on the federal level, and he got the power with a pen with clemency to reunite. I'm talking about tens of thousands of families, and we're gonna push till he do that. So
Let's go.
So let's use Spotlight over the
Let's
city to help
go.
with that platform. Let's go. Anything I can do, we got that.
Let's go.
Hey.
Y'all give it up one more time.
Y'all do that. Yes,
Family.
yes, yes.
Tony
Make sure
Lewis
y'all lock in.
Jr.
Make sure y'all follow this young man. And make sure y'all follow the movement. Anything you can do, because we're collectively, we super powerful. Let's collect.
Let's collect.
What we got
We'll
next?
be right back with
IGFC.
Reverend Dr. Daryl Cummins.
Hey, give it up, give it up, give it up. Let's go, DJ Uncle Fresh.